Hi, my name is Brandon Johnson. I'm a senior account executive here at Odoo. And for today, I've prepared a simple demonstration involving CRM, sales, inventory, and accounting. Real simple sales flow. Let me just share my screen and we can get started. So, for our agenda today, we are going to discuss what is Odoo, and we will go through a multi-app demo including CRM, sales, inventory, and accounting. What is Odoo? Odoo is a modular ERP system that can be as simple as a few applications, or it can be more complicated as demonstrated here. Odoo has three main strengths. The first is it's integrated and scalable. What that means is all those apps that you saw on screen are integrated together. And by scalable, you could have, say, one user up to, over 1,000 users. Odoo's used by quite a few companies from small to medium and even large companies. We have a simple UI and it's easy to learn. Our UI is very uncomplicated and it doesn't take that long to learn how to use Odoo and become an expert in it. Finally, Odoo is flexible and customizable. This part we're not going to go into too deeply today, even though Odoo is flexible and customizable. Most of those involve another app and we'll cover it in a future demo. So now we're going to go into what the sales flow is going to look like. So our first step is we're going to get the opportunity, and that's going to be handled in our CRM. The next is we're going to create the quotation, deliver quotation, and then accept the quotation. Those will be handled in sales. Then we're going to create a delivery, deliver the item, and those will be handled in inventory. And then finally, we're going to create the invoice, deliver the invoice, and log the invoice, and that will all be handled in accounting. Let's just jump into it. So this is my demo database, demo2.odoo.com. And in this database is where we will show everything today. We're not only going to use 4 apps, CRM, sales, inventory, and accounting today. But as I said before, all of these apps are integrated together and could be used if we decided we need to. We're going to start in the CRM. Now, the CRM is our customer relationship management tool. And what that means is this is the app that allows you to track all of your opportunities and in some cases, sales and anything that you specifically want to track relationships with customers. For our demonstration today, I'm going to create a new opportunity. For example, let's say you are a laptop reseller and you're at a convention. And at that convention, you meet somebody named Bob and he wants to buy some laptops. So we can create a contact on the fly or we can create the opportunity. In our case, let's just create a new contact. We're going to call him Bob. And we're going to call it Bob's opportunity, but we don't have to. We're actually going to call it Up to Buy Laptops. None of this is seen by Bob. This is all internal for your own use. So our email is for Bob is Bob at, he uses a pretty generic one, gmail.com. And then we also have his phone number, 123-456-7890. And that's all it takes to create an opportunity. Now, before we jump into the opportunity, I want to show some very specific things. We have filters, group by, and favorites. This is across every single app, so it's not just only on the CRM. It's also in sales, inventory, accounting, and any of the other apps. You can set up specific filters, so we can find all of our specific apps for a specific date, all of our closed won ops, lost, archived. We can even add custom filters as well if we want to do that. Next, we have groups. We can set up specific groups. So if we want to track everything by a specific stage, or we wanted to see everything from a specific salesperson, we could do that. If we wanted to see stage, for instance, by default, you don't see anything there, but if we move it to stage, we can then easily track our ops. And we also have a calendar view, which allows us to track any of the activities that we have going on. We have a pivot table view, some graphs. We have a view specifically for sales managers or any of the higher ups who want to know what our expected revenue is. And then of course we have location views. This is if you want to have somebody see where specific locations are on the map. And then finally we have our activity views, so we can see a drop-down view into any activities and also schedule new activities for specific opportunities that we're tracking. For our opt today, this is for our opt to buy laptops. We have our customer named Bob. We have his email and his phone number. We can also take internal notes here. We can say met at a convention if we want. We can also add extra information to him if we decide to. One thing I do want to mention is we also have tags. Tags are extremely useful. They allow you to add any type of tag that you want on the item, and then it's viewable from the CRM in a very easy to see manner. Assume that we've had a bunch of back and forth conversations with Bob. Well, one of the ways we can track those back and forth conversations is we have this thing built into Odoo called the chatter. This allows us to send a message, log a note, and schedule an activity. Sending a message allows us to email directly to Bob. We can pop out this email if we want, say, hey Bob, great meeting you at the convention. I heard you wanted to buy some laptops. Best, Brandon. Now, what this does is this will actually send him an email. We could also attach a file if we wanted to include, say, a PDF of the laptops he said he may want to buy. And that's all recorded in real time. And we can see that it was done on the 17th. So, hey, Bob, great meeting you. If he responds back, we'll actually see his response right up here. So that's extremely useful, especially if you're keeping track of conversations over time. Next, we have login and note. This allows us to at anybody in our company, ask them a question or request that they do something. And once again, we can also attach something into this if we want to as well. So if we want to attach an invoice or something like that, we can attach it into the opportunity or picture or whatever it is. And Mark would be pinged, hey, can you assist me with Finally, we can schedule an activity, so we could have calls back and forth. Let's say we had a call and we marked it done. Once again, you have that ability to see that the call was finished. And then if we want to schedule a call in the future, let's say we're scheduling in the future, we click schedule, and we can see in 3 days that we have a call due. So we've had our back and forth conversation with Bob. He's ready for a quote. So we can actually move this over to proposition, and now we're going to send him a quote. So to create a quote, all you have to do is click new quotation. It will automatically pull Bob's information for you. So now all we have to do is select the item. So in our case, once again, I'm keeping this very simple, but we could have a very long list of products and a bunch of other things if we want to on this. In our case, we're only doing, say, 20 laptops. And we can actually see, since we have the price already set on the product, that it's recorded in Odoo. We also have our forecasted stock, so we can see how many units we have. And one of the other really cool things is when I click on this forecast, I can actually see on my forecast that we have forecasted inventory 50. Now it says forecasted with pending, which is a really cool, nifty feature. This basically, even though we haven't confirmed the sales order, if we do confirm this order, Odoo assumes that we'll only have 30 left. So it's a really nifty thing that Odoo's added. One more thing I want to mention is even though it says I'm in the CRM right now, I'm actually in sales, and in sales, that is where I send the quotes from. So from here, I can send a quote to Bob, and it's recorded. Here is your quote, best Brandon. And we also have a PDF that will be attached to this email as well. So I can see in real time with the PDF that he's buying 20 laptops for $690. Once again, if he responds to this email, I'll see it show up right above here. The other thing, though, is Odoo has a built-in ability for him to be able to sign this quote as well, sign and confirm. So that's what we're going to do now. When I click on the customer preview, I'm going to pretend to be Bob and allow Bob to sign and pay right now. So we have Bob, he just signed, and this is also recorded in Odoo. So once he's clicked accept and sign, Odoo now knows that Bob has agreed to pay for the 20 laptops for $690. And we could also allow him to pay through a number of different ways. I don't have any of them set up in this demo database, but we could have him pay right then and there and go directly to the invoice and allow him to pay in full without having to do a wire transfer. So that's one of the nifty ways that Odoo can streamline that process, allow your customers to pay online. In our case, I'm just having him click pay and confirm. And now we're going to jump back into sales, and we are going to see that the signature that he did is saved in our specific sales quote. So now under sales order 48, we can see that he's agreed to pay $690, and there's his signature right there. I'm going to manually confirm this, but as I said, if it was invoiced, it would automatically confirm it for us. If it was invoiced through, say, PayPal or Stripe or something like that. So I'm going to click confirm. Now, once I've clicked confirm, this actually triggers the need to deliver his 20 laptops, and we need to invoice him for those 20 laptops as well. So there's a number of different ways we can do the delivery. One is I can click on delivery, and then from here, even though it says I'm in sales, I'm actually in inventory right now, and I can remove these 20 laptops. So I could take these 20 laptops, validate it, and remove them from my inventory. The other way I could do it, of course, is I can go directly into the inventory app right here, and I can see that there's order to process. I can click into the order to process and see the one due with Bob. I'm going to click validate, which basically means Odoo's going to take all of my 20 items and it's going to process them and then deliver them for me. I can also send a text message. So we're going to assume I sent a text message as well. So instead of clicking disable, let's assume that I also sent him a text message as well. So from here, we can see that we've delivered 20 laptops. I can click into the laptops and now see that instead of I used to have 50 on hand, now I only have 30 on hand. So we're going to jump back into sales, and now we can see that that sales process that we did where we delivered 20, it's all recorded in Odoo. So our last step is to invoice him for the items that we've delivered. So from here, we can click create invoice, and we can create a regular invoice. And now when we're in the invoice, from here, this is personal preference, of course, but typically you don't want your salespeople to confirm invoices. You want your accountant to do it. So you could actually have this confirm button blocked out so that the salesperson wouldn't be able to see it and only your accountant would. So your salesperson creates the invoice, but your accountant is the one who confirms it. So your accountant would just jump into accounting right here. They'd click on the invoice to validate. They'd click on the one that's already set up. And from here, they'd click confirm. So now this is a confirmed invoice, and it's also referenced under our sales number. If you want, you can actually send this invoice directly to the customer. Our accountant is logged in, and they send this invoice, Dear Bob, and this is sent from the administrator. It's in reference to this specific sales order. I click send and print. I can actually format this entire document, so I can format it to set up my invoice however I want. Okay, so I'm just going to click save, keep the generic, and now we can see that we've sent the invoice. So finally, all we have left to do is to accept his payment. Bob responds, hey, here's a check. So we can register the payment under whatever journal we choose to use. We click create payment, and now we've received the payment. So one last really nifty thing is under sales, when we look under the sales order, we can actually see the accountant has confirmed that this invoice has been paid. So under sales order 48, we've paid it, and now we can make sure that our sales guy gets paid as well. What we did is we started in the CRM, we went into sales, we went into inventory, and then we finished in accounting. In accounting, one last thing, we can actually see under our profit and loss, the item that we just did right here for the laptop is recorded for $600. Now, one of the really cool things about Odoo is Bob is one of the contacts. So if I search at Bob, I can literally find the entire process that we just did. So we can go to this opportunity, We can mark it as 1 if we want. We can also see the order, so the sales order that he's paid for. I can also go to another smart button, our sales, and we can see any sales made under Bob. In this case, it was the $690 sale. And then also we can see that we've invoiced him for the total amount, and that's recorded as well. And that's it. Very simple demo. We used CRM, sales, inventory, and accounting. Technically, we also used contacts, but that's a free app. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at bjo@odoo.com. Otherwise, have a great day.